Good morning, commissioners. My name is Megan Dashley, and I'm here today begging you guys to care about the dogs who cannot be here to speak for themselves today. I was raised by law enforcement. My dad served for 26 years for the city of Cincinnati and another 14 with Warren County Drug Task Force. Among many things that he taught me, it was to always stand up for what I believe, even if I have to stand alone. Yesterday, I knew clear as day what I wanted to speak to you guys about. But here I am, nearly speechless of what has transpired in the last 24 hours at the Clermont County Animal Shelter. We're left with one question: what happens next? What happens next when we no longer have a staff to care for the 76 plus dogs in our care at any given time? What happens next for the dogs needing rotated outdoors because we don't have adequate outdoor space that we are continually promised is coming? Who is left to care and protect for these dogs when there is no staff left? With a decrease in staffing, it has led to decreased hours, decreased adoptions, all while juggling the uptick in owner surrenders, strays, and puppy dumpings. A perfect storm for disaster. Since the end of 2023, the shelter has been understaffed and struggling to bridge the gaps. A staff already struggling to get ahead continue to fall further behind. With every week, an environment has become more toxic, more unhealthy, and more oppressive. The hostile work environment and pressures put on the staff has led to where we are today. The Bureau of Labor Statistics states that animal rescue workers have occupational suicide rate nearly 5 times higher than the average worker. This alarming statistic includes not only suicides, but also PTSD, depression, and secondary trauma. Of the staff remaining, the current environment is severely impacting the quality of life for both themselves and the dogs they care for. Numerous staff members have spoken openly about their depression and low mental health over the last year. One confided in me this week, "I have never been so low mentally and cannot continue to stay in a place that is ultimately going to take my life." With the announcement of our kennel manager putting in her 2 weeks notice, more departures to come, recent firings, and no one up on deck, I do not know how much more the remaining few can take because there's not much left. Daily, these staff members break down into tears, and the volunteers are left to console them. Daily, these staff members have panic attacks and anxiety attacks in the bathroom. Daily, these staff members are belittled and left to pick up the pieces, trying their best to stay afloat. We cannot keep losing good people. We cannot keep firing good people, and we can't keep pushing away the only people who give a damn about the well-being of the dogs in the shelter. We need staffing, and we need to pay them truly livable wages. We need to provide a safe and healthy work environment. We need a leader who is going to be supportive, cultivate teamwork, provide mentorship, build trust, and be committed to the future of the shelter, the dogs, and the staff. A suicidal workforce, no leadership, no cats, a blown medical budget by May, reduced hours, misuse of funding. How can the county see this as a success? You failed the county and the dogs we serve by rejecting the Humane Society's contract proposal. Carolyn Evans knew back then what we're seeing come to fruition now. Under the county's control, we cannot retain the right people. So commissioners, I ask you this: what's your plan?
I really think Megan said it all, but I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. I mean, first of all, staff are not the only ones breaking down on a regular basis. The volunteers are as well. It's emotionally draining. I mean, you leave there and you feel horrible. It's just a depressing situation. But there's a couple of things that just never seem to get resolved. Questions that I've asked numerous times, like the updates that are supposed to happen at the shelter. We don't have them. It's been like 2 years. So I'm wondering, like, there was money donated to the animals at the animal shelter that was supposed to be outdoor kennels, covering for the outdoor play area, a dishwasher, the washer and dryer. I don't even know what's going on with that, but everything takes at least 2 years. So the dogs can't wait 2 years for everything that they have or that they need. We need a committee for euthanasia decisions. There is not a committee. It should not be one person making this decision. That should be a vet, a behaviorist, the director, and a volunteer. That should be, or somebody from the community. One person cannot make a behavioral euthanasia decision. Also, the staffing. I mean, right now, there are no staff really. Even at the best times when there was staff, the hours, the shifts are not staggered. They need to be staggered. The dogs aren't getting out. And the public doesn't even realize that dogs are locked up really probably 22 hours a day at the very least. They're lucky if they get out 2 hours. And that's being very generous. The dogs need to get out. They can't be in from 3 o'clock. And I know they close at 4. The dogs aren't out at 4. So 2, 3 o'clock until the next morning, that's ridiculous. That's not acceptable. And, you know, it's something that we've fought for a really long time, and our voices aren't being heard. So I don't know what more we can do to make our voices heard, but it's going to be things you don't want done, because we're going to have to go to media, we're going to have to get the public involved. You have to hear us. We're there every day. We don't see any of your faces there, but we are there. Thank you.
I was here about a year ago, and I came in wide-eyed, first starting to volunteer, and sat here in front of you and said, we are going to have the best shelter in the entire area. And I really believe that. So I've been there a year. We're not against you. We're for the dogs. And I think everybody needs to understand that. I'm going to break down, because I do every day I leave there. We had $60,000 set aside for new kennels outside. Please understand, Tim was out there measuring, asking what size they should be to Shelby. I was there. Somebody came out and did the wiring so we didn't put the kennels, in and start something on fire. It hasn't been done. If we had those kennels, we would still have workers, because in the morning, you need to understand the process. They take the dogs outside, immediately clean all the kennels, grab the dogs, come back in, clean the kennels of all the poop that's out there, bring another set of dogs out, bring that dog, bring another set of dogs back out. If we had more kennels, those dogs could go out and stay all day long on a nice day. We need those kennels. We were told we had the money for the kennels. The washer and dryer. I purchased a washer and dryer a year ago. We need 2 washer and dryers. We walk in there. When those puppies came in from that big hoarding case, PJ, and Kelly did all the laundry in those back rooms. I went in at 8 o'clock in the morning and cleaned and put the laundry out in the hall, and Kelly would pick it up and I would bring it home. I would come back at 8 o'clock the next morning, get the other clothing, put it back outside, replace it with the new ones. We need help. We need so much help, and something has to be done. There are 2 kennels outside that we can't put dogs in because the lock, something's broken on them. A year ago, it was asked to be fixed. Please, please. The workers are leaving. When Shelby leaves, we're going to have no one in leadership that really, really cares about these dogs. Please do something. We're not allowed to talk to the media. Megan came in and did a whole area, a beautiful area for the dogs. People are donating all the time. Tim and Shelby put up a new fence outside for the dogs to go. We need more of that. It's heartbreaking. All these volunteers here, they don't need to be here. They're here for the dogs, not for anyone else. We are here for the dogs, and please, please help us.
I have been a volunteer for the shelter since February of last year. I think I have volunteered a total of around 160 hours, which in my opinion is small compared to what these ladies have done. They are dedicated individuals that care about one thing, they care about the welfare of the dogs. I have seen major decline in the staffing, over the last few months. I'm talking about new dog wardens, new administrative people who work the front desk, other people who work the front desk, kennel techs. I was so frustrated in the last 2 months, I started to volunteer at the League for Animal Welfare. I think you all know where that is. It's on Taylor Road. They have a modern facility. They have kennel runs that allow the dogs to go outside. They have over 2 miles of walking trails in the woods. What do we have? We have no walking trails. We have no outdoor runs for the dogs. We are surrounded by other county property, primarily sheriff's department offices. What do we get? Our volunteers get harassed by sheriff's deputies because our dogs inadvertently peed on one of their vehicles or peed on one of their bushes. We have a shooting range right across the street from the kennels. I've been there walking dogs when deputies have been shooting their weapons. It sounded like a war going on. These ladies care about one thing. They care about the welfare of the dogs. I personally feel, along with Megan, that the shelter is at a crisis situation. I personally feel that it's come to the point that either the shelter gets closed down and all these dogs are transferred to other shelters or other rescues, because we need help. We need staffing help. We need improvements in the shelter facilities. In my opinion is, I don't think that the three of you want to have the media come down on you as to why you cannot operate and function a basic shelter. I know that come November, there's an election. I know that there's individuals who care about the shelter, who have come out to the shelter, who are running for election. So I hope you keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you.